Yo! Welcome back to another edition of the Cruising Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Cruz, and today is Thursday, August 24th. What's up? How's everyone doing, man? We're almost at the end of August. On the East Coast, I know kids go back to school very soon. This is weird. It's been the fastest, this had to be the most fastest summer I've dealt with in my life. Like, probably next year is going to be even faster. Like, it's so weird that like these years are like we already passed the halfway point of this year. Like, we're close to only to the last quarter of the year. Football's about to start in 2 weeks. What is going on right now? Oh my gosh, I feel like the older I get, like they said, the older we get, the faster time has gone or something. I don't fucking know. It's too much. It's too much going on. But I forgot to say this, where you can find the Cruising Podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, and anywhere else you can find podcast needs. That's where you can find the Cruising Podcast. Also, where you can find latest updates to the show is on Instagram at Cruising Podcast, also on Twitter at Nicetown Finest. Yeah, man, it's just I don't know. It's getting a little weird for me. Hold on one second, y'all. My bad. Got to make sure I get everything right. All right, cool. We're good. All right. So today, like I said, it's Thursday. We're gonna be talking Bleach for sure. Y'all already know Kenpachi Sarake. He is back, baby, and he knows the name of his Zanpakuto. Listen, people. All right, so if you haven't watched Bleach before, of course you don't know what about Kenpachi, especially if you started with 1,000 Years Blood War. Kenpachi never even released his sword. I mean, I'm sorry, some of you might consider it a sword. Us in the Bleach world, we call it Zampatos. Okay, Zampatos. Make sure you show some fucking respect. All right, just putting it out there. But with his Zanpakuto, he never knew the name of it. The dude was just fighting with a fucked up sword. The whole for like hundreds and hundreds of years, he murked like thousands of people without ever knowing, without ever releasing his sword. His sword was never in Shikai. Shikai's the right before you hit Bankai. So he didn't know the name. He didn't like, and we find out now that these swords kind of have these. I'm sorry, Zanpakutos have their own like personality to them. It's kind of interesting to say the least, man. So with him, it's been like when he fought Ichigo the first time around, they still need to. He still needs his round two. He's been waiting for that round two for many years now. But the first fight between him and Ichigo, I remember like he just came out like a bat out of hell and was like, "Look, man." He said, "Look, I've never been cut." He said, "This is just how it's going to work. I'm going to open up my shirt. I'm going to let you cut me." And Ichigo looks at him like, "Huh? You let me do what?" I'm going to let you cut me. He said, "I want you to cut me right here." And Ichigo tries to go cut him, and he doesn't even put a scratch on Kenpachi. And then Ichigo had the power to fuck up, but Ichigo had an advantage because he knew the name of his Zanpakuto. He's already had a conversation with Master Zangetsu, and his other self that was in the world with the like. Y'all need to go, if you haven't, the fight between him and himself inside of that world. That's how he's supposed to use his sword. I mean, use his Zanpakuto. He's actually supposed to be spinning it and kind of using it like a kind of a not whip, but kind of like a fuck, man, like like one of those little fucking like Scorpion, like a Scorpion spear, like how Scorpion has a spear. He has like a little. He's supposed to be spinning that shit around and fighting like that. He's really not supposed to hold it from the heel. It's kind of fucking sick. His other side knew how to use his. Okay, we're going. Oh, sorry. So this episode of 1,000 Years. No, you know what? We're gonna finish it. Fuck that. We're gonna finish it. So his other side spins his like if you see Ichigo's sword, Ichigo, like the bigger your sword is, the more spiritual pressure you're putting out. So that's why Ichigo's sword is fucking humongous in fucking Shikai. And so his other side can spin that and it's sick. It was a great fight. If you guys get a chance, is after he loses to, it's when he starts to it's when he gets his soul chain eaten, and he starts his holification with Kisuke. So if you guys haven't watched it, man, it's the first season right before we get to the rescue arc. So Kenpachi, the reason why Ichigo had an advantage in the first fight is because Kenpachi didn't know his sword's name. His sword, so he was really fighting with like maybe 10% of the sword of his Zanpakuto's power, of the power that he actually has. And then, like, apparently, most of the Soul Society has been fighting with their Zanpakutos at like 0.5% because they don't know their full name. They haven't known their full names. So we're at a point right now where all the captains and the lieutenants are starting to learn the full name of their Zanpakutos, and they're going out to unleash them by 110%. Like, seriously, Renji learned the rest of his Zanpakuto's name. His Bankai changed. Rukia did the same thing. Her Bankai changed. Fucking Byakuya, his Bankai changed. Now, really, Kenpachi skipped a step and learned his full Zanpakuto's name. So that shit is overpowered. He's an OP character anyway, because all he wants to do really is fight and kill. That's why him and Orihana, if you haven't watched the fight between him and Orihana, please go watch this. It's from the first season. It's from the first half, or her first episodes of the 1,000-Year Blood War. Actually, right after the invasion, she tells him, "Yo, you gotta meet me in this basement because we gotta go to war." Say, if you win, you Kenpachi. So she is the first ever Kenpachi, by the way. Okay, it's a name that's passed down from the most fierce warriors. Now, her fucking Zanpakuto's power, I'm sorry, I know I'm going to like Bleach history right now, but her shit was sick as shit. I love hers. Hers were like, she literally used like blood magic. If you're watching Demon Slayer, like that's literally what she used, like blood art magic, whatever the fuck it was. That's her thing. And actually, she's part of the squad that does the healing. Okay, that's her squad, and she is the first Kenpachi. It goes, that name is, I think, it's passed down from like the most fierce warriors, and she's the first one. And they had to fight each other. He gets he gets her power. He pretty much becomes the absolute. It's like Highlander. It actually, just in case kids don't know, Highlander is another sword fighting show where there can only be one, and you fight off other people because there can only be one Highlander. And the more you kill, more Highlanders you kill, the more what you call got stronger. I forgot his name. I'm sorry. That's just the one thing I forget is his name. But Highlander, if you guys haven't watched it, Highlanders, the concept of it is amazing. It's a 90s show, but I think they can come back with it and like do like an HBO type deal and make like Highlander. Me and my brother, like, we used to get home when we lived in Philly. We used to get home just in time for Highlander to come on. Like that. This is when I was in like kindergarten. You know what I'm saying? I was watching, dudes kill each other, you know what I'm saying, and then take their powers, and then there can only be one. Only one. Just like the Jet Li movie, there can only be one. The one. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. Sorry. So Kenpachi, he's now the one and only. Saraki is the only one now. Because there was two. Now there's one. I mean, one. Yeah. Y'all see the video. Yeah, that's what we do. Okay. Sorry, my bad. If you're watching on video, you would definitely see the foolishness that I just did there. So Kenpachi ends up fighting Grimmy. Grimmy is a Stern Raider who has the power of imagination. So if he can imagine it, it can happen. Like with your Yucharu, his Kenpachi's lieutenant, he made her feel like her bones were cookies. Now, first of all, here's the problem with him doing that. First of all, it's some evil ass shit to do to another human being, to make them feel like their bones are cookies. Okay, listen, man. You could just say like, "Hey, man, maybe," and literally, his imagination made her bones into cookies. Fucking weird. And I was sitting there watching. I was just like, that's some evil ass shit right there, man. All right, because how you gonna sit here and make someone believe that their bones are a delicious treat? You know what I'm saying? Like, what is, first of all, what did you really accomplish right there? Cookies aren't like, what type of cookie we talking about? Like, like soft cookies or fucking, what I mean, hard cookies? I don't know what we're working with here. All right, like the ginger snaps. Are we working with ginger snaps? Because those are pretty hard cookies. So I don't know why I would want that for my bones, but that's fine. And I don't know why cookies. Like I just, that never, it still doesn't resonate with me. Um, I just, what would make her want to gnaw through her skin to eat her bones? I don't know. It was a very weird situation. Um, but he can make other people imagine what he's imagining, or he can put the imagination in your head, and then you would have that thought that, hey, my bones are cookies, like I'm brittle. I guess I don't know. It bothers me, that part of the story kind of bothers me, because I would want my bones to like maybe be as hard as a fucking over baked cookie. That would be great. Oven baked cookie for sure. I would definitely be a fan of that. I wouldn't be opposed. I'm just, that part of the story kind of like, all right, but he kind of beats her. He beats her at that period. You know what I'm saying, making her feel that way. But Kenpachi shows up because he was looking for her. He was like, normally, what's weird is that she is looking for him. Like, Kenny, where you at, Kenny? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. That's what she calls him. She calls him Kenny, and you know. With Kenpachi, he just learned his Zanpakuto's name. He's fighting Grimmy, which is possibly, he's an OP character. I mean, Grimmy really is an OP character, because if whatever you can imagine, it can happen. You know what I mean? Like the dude imagined at one point during the fight, he imagined guns, like 1,000 guns shooting bullets at Kenpachi. But the most craziest imagination that Grimmy had was that he had a meteor coming down to destroy the whole Soul Society. He said, shit, only one. He said, I can only imagine one of us surviving this. And he pretty much himself. I can only imagine one of us surviving this the whole time. And Kenpachi was like, fuck fighting you. I want to cut that. I said, I ain't never cut a meteor before. He said, I cut humans. And he said, I've cut humans. I've cut souls. I've cut everything else. Never cut through a meteor before. I was sitting there like, whoa, hold on. Like he's gonna do something badass, isn't he? Like he's like, you sit here like, hold on, man. Like, you got a fool. You could kill him to take away that imagination, possibly. No, I'm sorry. Grimmy did say that even if you kill me, this meteor is still coming down. It doesn't matter. And he said, I already imagine it, and it's already really coming down into the fucking Soul Society. So he was like, so Kenpachi was like, fuck it, I'm gonna go after the meteor then. I ain't never cut through that shit before. Seeing him jump up and release his Zanpakuto, I don't think that was Bankai either. That wasn't even that was just a Shikai of his Zanpakuto, by the way. It was just a Shikai. And he cuts through a meteor. Like, fucking way too excited to do this. And he cuts through it. Easily, by the way. Cuts through the meteor, ends up killing Grimmy, just because it's him now. Like that was the last thing he could imagine, and was like his imagination kind of died right there. Like he couldn't imagine it. I mean, what else could I imagine to you? Like the only thing I would maybe think the imagination you would do is maybe stop Kenpachi's heart. I don't know. That's the only thing I can really think of. But that was like a meteor. You tried to destroy everything except for yourself. What was that going to accomplish? So yeah, Kenpachi ends up killing him. Practically, it was an easy fight for Kenpachi. I don't know. I think like if we're talking power levels, I don't know who would be a good fight. Who would have been a good fight for Grimmy? I think the only person really that would have been a really better fight for Grimmy, or like if it was like a really match, if we're matching each other's wits, might have been Sunshi. Sushi. Sunshi. The what the visors from the main dude from the visors. Oh fuck man, I always see. I had a chance in his sword where he can make in his Sanpato where he can make it go back and forth and really disorient you. I think that would have been a better fight. I think especially to begin it. I think the fight that I would have had for Kenpachi might have been Master Muscle myself, the superstar versus Kenny. Like that would have been to me, that would have been an epic fight between those two because Kenpachi would go hands with him if he needed to. If he really needed to, he would have went hands with him. But I think that Grimmy was such a different fighter for Kenpachi. I think like once the imagination was gone, there was no way he was beating Kenpachi. Not even fucking close. It wasn't even going to be a close. It wasn't a close fight as is. You know what I mean? Like straight brutal skill. It's over Kenpachi over everything over that fight, man. So that episode actually on IMDb got 10 out of 10, and it deserved it. Okay, it deserved it. That we see Kenpachi really almost at his brutalist, killing Grimmy, and like sitting there having fun. He's having just as much as fun, but I think he still needs to get that round versus Ichigo. Like that fight needs to happen fucking very soon. I really think that we need to just see them spar or something like that. I just because he's been trying to fight Ichigo for. I remember when he was running through walls when Ichigo came back to the Soul Society just to try to fight Ichigo again because he was so excited because he had too much fun. And you know, your Charu was like, I like you, Ichigo. He said, come back and play with Kenny anytime. I love it. And by the way, I used to watch Bleach in the English version. So that's definitely what I think that's what I'm pretty sure that's what she told him. Like, it's crazy how I'm doing this off of memory. It's fucking amazing. But like I said, that was the Bleach episode for last weekend. It's fucking amazing. If you haven't watched it, definitely check it out. It was a great fight. It was a great reintroduction of Kenpachi because we haven't seen him in a very long time. It's been a while since we've like I think around like episode 6 or 7 is when he fight Ohana. Yeah. That I think it was about episode 6 or 7, one of those two. That they fought each other, he killed her, and then he, became the one. That's I think the last time we've seen him. And this is episode 20. So it's been 14 episodes since we've seen Kenpachi. So it was a nice reintroduction of him. We saw Renji and Rukia earlier in the first episode of this new season. And then, we're at like episode 5 or 6, we see them again. So we'll see both of them again. Rukia has her own fight. Renji has his. I think it's kind of weak that they didn't give Renji a full episode of fighting though, man. That's some whole ass shit, man. That's my guy. Maybe that's the problem. I can't. My fandom of Renji almost outweighs everything. So I take full blame for that. My fault, guys. I know you. Hey, once again, 1,000 Years Blood War like shows us that this is what Bleach should have been this whole time. And for it not to be like being like the little brother in the big three, it's kind of like, all right, man, y'all kind of like, I know it's the lower episode count than everyone else, than Naruto and fucking One Piece. Definitely, well, everybody's pretty much lower than One Piece, but I think that this is starting to this definitely, to me, this surpasses both of them. I think the brutality mostly because they finally are showing it. The fight scenes, the choreography for the fight scenes, the animation that they are using, like everything that they're using for this iteration of Bleach is almost perfection. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to say anything's perfect, but this is almost perfection. The storylines, the fights, they're not lasting 5 or 6 episodes. Like, They're lasting like literally one episode, like that Grimmy versus Kampachi fight. That's one of the lower tier fights, but like even though even then, it's condensed into one episode that they actually put a lot of information into, which I really really enjoy. I think they have done an amazing job. It's not like Dragon Ball Z back in the day where you're fighting Frieza for literally 3 to 4 fucking months, and it's only been like 15 minutes of fighting. You know what I'm saying? Like these fights are actually finishing off each episode, and then they're going to the next fight. Like I'm really, really excited for the next episode. Apparently, Ichigo is, back in the Soul Society. As we know, the past 2 episodes we haven't seen him since he jumped off the platform and started flying towards the Soul Society. They told him it was going to take him 2 weeks. He said, "Bitch, this is going to take me a day and a half." He said, "I'll be there by day's end. Don't worry, I'll be there." And jumps off, and he gets on. Yes, that's why, man. Yeah, Ichigo. They say, yo, he's way more powerful than he was when he first got here, and I am excited. I love it. Let's go. We get Ichigo. The king is back, baby. Let's get it. Yeah. So next episode is Saturday. The king is back. The real is back. The Ville is back. Woo! Let's go. Sorry. All right, my bad. All right. Next review time. Now, I can't really spoil too much. I won't spoil it. All right, I won't spoil it too much. All right, I'm going to give you guys an outline. Okay, I don't want to spoil it because I want you guys to go see this fucking movie. Blue Beetle, for anybody that has said that this is a CW movie, should definitely shut the fuck up. First of all, that's just first and foremost. Shut the fuck up. You did that for clickbaity shit. I watched every CW show ever. That was a far cry from any of the CW shows. Far cry. And except for maybe Superman and Lois. And I'm going to talk about Superman and Lois later. But Blue Beetle, I don't know what they were thinking on this one, but they did the right thing. They focused on the family. Instead of him trying to be the Beetle and, Blue, the Scarab and everything like that, we found out more about Jaime Reyes and his family than we did about the Scarab, which is fine. I think this is a good beginning because most origin stories, we kind of find out, oh, well, this is how he got the power and then blah, blah, blah. No. What we're finding out is his background first. We finally get his background. We're not getting even, like, he's already 22 years old. You know what I'm saying? He gets the Scarab, all the rest of that cool stuff. But I love the family aspect of it. They did way better than what Fast and Furious can ever do with family. Family definitely was the power here. And I love that they showed, Latino culture and how they, as a community and as a family, are very tight. Like, it actually, I'm not going to lie to you. I know this is going to sound a little personal, but like, it's kind of like my family. Like our closeness and to like watch them and like they do this one trope that I do kind of like that I've started to notice too, where like families, when they're dealing with shit, they all huddle. They actually do like a huddle. Like there's a couple of shows that do this where the whole family just huddles when they're dealing with things and like, now we can cry, or then they go and huddle together and stuff. I'm like, they huddled a lot. There was a lot of huddling going on with this family, which is fine. I don't care. It is, but going back, my family is very close. Any event that anybody, like we try, like everybody tries their best to get to them. You know what I'm saying? And the closeness of my family is very, very, yeah, it's very different than I've seen from others. And I feel like that's where our structure is kind of different. It's like, it doesn't matter, even if you're not blood related, you still are considered family. Like they did later on in the movie. And I'm sitting here watching, I'm just like I'm emotionally invested in the Reyes family. I didn't know I was still kind of grieving, you know what I'm saying? And or still grieving, still there's a lot of shit going on. But my emotions almost got the best of me when they started actually when they huddled. Is the crazy part. My emotions almost got the best of me. And this movie not only had really good action sequences, especially we now know for like 1,000% sure, a Dragon Ball Z movie can happen. Not only that, but a Bleach movie, Americanized, possibly can happen. Just putting it out there. All right, just putting it out there. My business. I know you guys are like, whoa, hold on, man. There's a lot of anime takes from here, but that's because Sholo is a nerd and he's an anime guy. He's like, if you guys have watched, I mean, if you guys have listened to the Lone Lobos podcast, which I have, and you got to hear kind of the journey through his journey through filming Blue Beetle. You know, they were, I think actually when they started their podcast, I think he like literally was starting to film the movie. But to watch like anime things coming to life right now through different type of medias, like once again, Blue Beetle had, I thought, a Bleach reference when he held the sword a certain way. And also we had, you know, kind of a Kamehameha. And then we also had, you know, the scorpion from Mortal Kombat reference. I also like that, like Creed 3, you know, they had their own anime references. And I'm loving seeing that this it's weird. I mean, it's kind of crazy because the two cultures that you don't think that this will come up in is coming up in. You know what I'm saying? Like let's be real. It's black. That's black. Creed 3 was pro black. Let's be real. Just put it out there. You know what I'm saying? Like people that you thought like weren't into anime and things like this. You know, like Latino culture. You know, that's anime references in Latino cultures. You know, that's not talked about enough. Actually, I think that people, you know, POCs, actually people of color, have embraced the anime culture and watching these shows and understanding like these aren't for fucking kids. I promise you, most of these are not for kids. Okay, just putting it out there. Like, there's a lot of animes out there that are not for kids. But our cultures are not talked about enough to me in this space of anime. Cause I've been watching it since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I used to come home, watch Dragon Ball Z, watch Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know, like I watched Hellsing. You know, I watched Hellsing before most people even knew about Hellsing. You know, I like there was a lot I watched. Bleach, of course, but I love seeing these references in like major movies right now. That's a major. I don't care how bad the box. I think the problem with Blue Beetle is that they're going to get the Birds of Prey problem, and where the marketing kind of ramped up a little too late. And I think word of mouth is going to help the sell of this movie. You know, more people talking about Blue Beetle is definitely going to help sell this movie. It was not a bad movie. It actually, this is like I was talking to Michael Carroll of the Warrior Cast. He was on Warrior Cast with me. So, co-host of the Warrior Cast. I'm sorry. He's the co-host of Warrior Cast whenever we do it here on the Cruising Podcast Network. But, you know, sorry. Continue on. Blue Beetle to me is getting the Birds of Prey treatment because Birds of Prey was actually a very, very good movie. I think that happened when the pandemic happened, and also it's also suffered because Birds of Prey suffered because they had like one really, really bad commercial, and the marketing of it was abysmal. Actually, I don't think I saw too many commercials after the first commercial of Birds of Prey. If you guys have seen this movie, it's actually very well done. Blue Beetle, I think, is going to go through the same thing. But what's lucky about Blue Beetle is that it's out in theaters. It's actually can be in theaters and make some money. You know what I'm saying? I know it had like a $23 million opening weekend, blah blah blah. A lot of people are still going to see Barbie and Oppenheimer. I'm suggesting this to everyone. Go check out Blue Beetle. You might cry. You might. And like I said, I haven't even talked about the storyline. Like the dude gets a scarab that protects him, that doesn't allow him to die. What? A scarab, like a little thing, and the scene where he gets the scarab inside of him, like that's the fun. Like George Lopez as the comic relief. Okay, I know this is going to be controversial from my Mexican fellows, from my Mexicans. I'm sorry. I'm going to just put this out there because I've always had this opinion of him, and I know a lot of you love him. I know he's a national treasure. It's going to be controversial. George Lopez stand-up, to me, as a stand-up comedian, I never liked George Lopez stand-up comedian. I never thought he was funny. I'm sorry. Maybe because I'm not Chicano. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not Mexican. You know what I'm saying? That's not my culture. Maybe. I don't know. But because most of the time he does do a lot of his comedy through family shit and like in Spanish sometimes. And I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing here? But I've never found him funny, stand-up wise. Now, TV and movie wise, when he's the comic relief, he's A1. He's an A+ performer. George Lopez show, it had his hits, it had his misses. You know what I mean? We all watch Nick at Night. Does not get it twisted. We've all watched Nick at Night, and I have a very special connection with the George Lopez show, which I might put on the Patreon if you guys sign up for it. It might come up on the Patreon at some point in life. But I'm just saying right here that George Lopez killed it in his role as the crazy uncle. I thought he was the father. I don't know why I thought he was the father. You know what? The father of this movie, he always played a villain for some reason. He always play a villain? I've always remembered him as a villain. I'm not going to try to look him up right now, but I've seen him in multiple movies where he's really like the conniving villain, and really he was the glue that was keeping the family together. Like the family, no matter what, no matter if they got into arguments or whatever, they always came together. And that's what I loved about this movie. It wasn't a typical superhero movie. It wasn't. It was not at all. I mean, you had your action sequences, you had things blowing up, you had to do this, that, and third. That's cool. There was heart in this movie, a lot of it. Every time it seemed like the chips were down, bro leaned on his family. Bro had to lean on his family, or Tommy had to lean on his family, or his family had to come do some things. You know what I'm saying? That's what I loved about this movie. It's different. It's really, really theatrically different than most comic book. I know probably it's comic book movie fatigue, and maybe we do need a year to maybe miss it a little bit. I thought during the pandy that was going to happen, but it didn't. And people are still dealing with comic book fatigue, and I understand it. I see what y'all might be talking about. Sometimes I was about to sing Boys and Men. Sometimes the water runs dry. We don't even talk anymore. Sorry, my bad. We don't even know what we argue about. Don't even say I love you no more. Sorry. The moment in our life. Don't do it, baby. Ooh. Sorry. All right, my bad. Sorry, my voice is gone right now. Okay. Let me give you guys a little bit of sidetrack of what's going on. So I was driving today, and I was driving down the road, and I was like, all right, well, let's just listen to some random music. Normally I listen to podcasts. I was like, you know how you just get into a music mood? You just want to listen to music. So I started listening to music, and Life Jennings came on. Life Jennings, was it 289? Fuck man, it was his Jailhouse. Hold on, it's gonna bother me. Was it Life Jennings' first album? Life Jennings' first album. It's his jail. It's his inmate number. Fuck me, it's gonna bother me. Yes, 268-192. Life 268-192. That's what's Life 268-192. I was listening. Stick Up Kid came on randomly. I was just, I love this song. Hey, actually, that album got me through some things. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I got on Punishment one time, and so the only thing I had, my mom got me a stereo. So when I got on Punishment, I couldn't watch TV or anything. So I can't play video games. So I listened to music. I listened to Cassidy Split Personality. I used to listen to Z104. If anybody lives in Virginia, you know what I'm talking about. Z104, The Zoo. But the Life Jennings first album got me through that Punishment. I'm not gonna lie to you. Stick Up Kid came on. And so I was like, oh, yeah, man, I'm starting singing Stick Up Kid. I've been robbing these niggas, but I'm a stick up kid. That's how I live. I admit it. So that came on, and then I was like, I have to listen to my favorite song from this album. My favorite song from the first Life Jennings album is I Made Up My Mind. The dude apparently like so the scene is, because I don't think he ever made a video to it, but the scene is that he walks inside of a church and starts singing and practically just talking trash, like just saying, like talking about how people are fake, they like churchgoers are fake or something like that. He said, what was it? I wish I could play it here because I don't know if I get copy, because I got the Twitch. I'm also doing this on Twitch. But if you guys get a chance, listen to I Made My Mind Up. Made My Mind Up by Life Jennings. That song, that and Cry got me through a breakup. Made Up My Mind also got me through a breakup, but in a different way. But I was singing that song at the top of my lungs. That's probably why my voice sounds a little bit more raspy than normal, because I was singing that. I haven't heard that song in years, and I hear it for the first time in years. I have to sing it because I used to sing it all the time. And yeah. Let's just say my voice is not happy with me. My throat or whatever, voice box, whatever the fuck you want to call it, that shit hurts like a bitch. Okay, I'm surprised I'm doing a podcast today, but this here we are. You know what I'm saying? But sorry, I was sidetracking. That's all me. But like, yeah, that's yeah. I love Life Jennings. Life Jennings' first album, man. If you guys ever get a chance, definitely listen to that motherfucker straight on. It's a compliment. It's really, the album is based around him getting out of jail. That's his story. His story was that he was in jail for 10 years. He got out of jail, won I think he either won or he performed. He definitely performed. He performed a song at the Apollo. Back when Apollo was a big thing, Steve Harvey. I think Steve Harvey was the host of everything. Like the dude, like literally was playing a guitar. I think even with a cigarette in his mouth or something. I don't know. He like literally just got out of jail for 10 years. And he got out of jail for 10 years and went straight to the Apollo. And you know that, and then the album, his first album, is about his life leading up to getting out of jail and singing at the Apollo. Like he's telling his life story throughout this whole thing. It's amazing. If you guys definitely, I cannot promote this album enough. I love this album. If I got, man, I might even do an album of the week type shit. Like this album, if you're down and out and you feel down and out, that shit will lift you the fuck up. It's going to bring you down. It's going to bring you down first, but you got to listen to the whole thing. You're going to go through it. You're going to hit rock bottom. Listen to this shit. But it's going to bring you above those ashes and rise like a fucking phoenix. Like, I'm not joking around. Okay, my bad. Sorry. But I was talking about Blue Beetle, went on to a Life Jennings rant. That happens. Welcome to the Cruising Podcast. So, Life Jennings, Life Jennings, Jaime Reyes, like I said, man, if you guys get a chance, check out Blue Beetle, man. You will not be this. It's better than all the DC properties that came out. It's actually, if I'm ranking movies that I saw best movies right now, it's probably the second. Like the Ninja Turtles movie, I think it moves in front of the Ninja Turtles movie for sure. The first movie for me is Guardians of the Galaxy. Number one is Guardians. Number one, Guardians Volume, what's that, Volume 3? Yeah. Yeah, that fucked me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie to you. It got me. I think it got me at a very, very fragile time when I was watching it too. And so, like, I seen it from a different picture. And like I said with Blue Beetle, I seen Blue Beetle from a different point of view than most people would have seen it. Like it was a family movie. It was really a movie about family was really your strength. Family, like leaning, it's okay to lean on them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to lean, it's okay to fall back in with them. You know what I'm saying? Like have them lift you up. It's fine. Like that's what I think Blue Beetle was to me. If you have any other opinion about it, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like I know this is like I've been on a mental health kick lately with the pod. Like I said with Life Jennings, like my bad. We'll go back real quick. With the this actually kind of wraps into my mental health talk. Like no matter how down and out you are, man, there's a light at the end of the fucking tunnel. Keep fucking moving forward. That's all I'm saying. And if you have to go and lean on family and best friends, girl, whatever you need to do, lean on them, man. That's what they're there for. That's why they're the foundation. Sorry, that's my rant. I'm done. All right, but definitely check out Blue Beetle. It's out in theaters right now. Definitely check it out. They already said that they're going on video on demand September 9th, which bothers the shit out of me. That really bothers me. I don't care about that bothers me. It kind of like cuts them at the knees a little bit. It's a little whack, yo. I don't think it really connects to the I know they said that they want to have Jaime part of the DCU. I think there's no other Jaime Reyes. I think Sholo definitely locked up he's kind of like Iron Man. There can only be one. And if I'm being honest, there are some signs of different heroes, but if you watch Iron Man 1, there was never like any inkling of this is going to be continuity. Like there was going to be continuity, there was going to be an MCU. Like when I first watched that, actually when I first watched Incredible Hulk with fuck man, what's his name? Edward Norton. When Edward Norton was Eric Bana. If I'm being honest, they never had continuity. They never talked about continuity with the first movies. Like Iron Man, the last thing we know about, like the only time we really knew there was continuity is when Tony Stark showed up in the end credit scenes. And yes, there are two of them. There are two. There's a mid credit scene and there's an end credit scene. Just putting it out there just to help everyone out. But I definitely see where they have room for a sequel for sure. But the continuity wise, I just this might be Iron Man. This might be the DCU's Iron Man. Like, how many people overall really liked Iron Man when it first came out? There wasn't a lot of people. It didn't have the biggest of fanfares when it first came out. You know what I mean? Like once people really started word of mouth, really, when really Iron Man started taking off, once they were like, yo, word of mouth, like this movie's actually pretty fucking good. This is actually these comic book movies might have a chance. So if I'm being, I wouldn't say it's the MCU's version of Iron Man, but it's close enough. It's a different spin. It's definitely, there is a suit. There's a regular human being wearing a suit. Sholo can grow old as Jaime Reyes. Because I think like the age of Jaime Reyes is literally his age. Um, I really don't, like I said, I don't, I see how this has a chance to be Iron Man. I really do. I do see how this could be the DCU's version of Iron Man and start everything. Start with like 10 years of goodness. Like I really think this movie does that in a different light though. For me, it's a different light, but I for not having a rated R stamp on it for a DC movie to be good, I think they did a really good job with this movie. I really do. I don't put numbers on it. Y'all know me. I'm not a good numbers guy, but like Michael was telling me 4 out of 5. I would definitely say 4 out of 5. It has its flaws. I'm not saying it's not I'm not saying it's a flawless movie. Don't get it twisted. But because the villain could like and he didn't really control what I was thinking. I was just watching it too, but yeah, the villain could have been a little bit better. That's probably the only downfall. But it does take it does take some of its beats from Iron Man. I know I keep going back to it, but it does take some of its beats from Iron Man from the first one. I think that's the only thing I can really compare it to. Actually, yeah, that's really the only thing you can compare it to. Is that it's Iron Man. Okay, definitely, like I said, please go check out Blue Beetle and watch it, enjoy it, do everything with it, get popcorn, sodas, and all the rest of that cool shit. Please do it. That's all I'm asking. Blue Beetle out in theaters. Check it out. All right. Lastly, talking about Superman and Lois. My nephews. My nephews got me into this, actually. Oh man, I am getting dizzy. All right, not dizzy, but tired. I don't know what it is. Okay, let's do this. Superman and Lois. My nephews got me into this. He was like, "Yo, my Uncle Andrew, I'm telling you, this is different than all the other CW shows, man. This is actually really good." And I was like, sitting there watching it for a second. I was like, "This is definitely shot differently than the rest of the CW verse or Arrowverse. This is not an Arrowverse show anymore. Like the way it's shot, the way the story is going, I mean, the way the story is told, the way just the acting, like everything. I don't know why. It just seemed like with Arrow, they wanted to make it the lighting really, really dark. Like they wanted to, it was, I don't know, it's just a different aura with this Superman and Lois. It's a different aura to it. Like Batwoman, to me, the last season almost reverted back to Arrowverse shit, but the second season of Batwoman, totally different. I thought Batwoman, actually, this does start with Batwoman, like how they differently shot these shows. Superman and Lois, if I'm going to say out of CW shows, how it's shot, maybe the originals, maybe Vampire Diaries, not Supernatural, and it's definitely not Smallville. It's different from Smallville because Smallville had Freak of the Weeks. This one has an overarching story, and also, dealing with family drama, and they remember, if anybody knows, they apparently Superman has twin children with Lois. Don't know how an alien can have twin half human alien babies, but I don't ask any questions. So actually, I think he lost his powers for a second there, back in the CW, back in the Arrowverse. But I actually really like this show. I hate Superman content. I really do. I think people, if you know me, I'm a big Batman fan. I hate Superman. I think Superman is the most basic fucking superhero of all time who doesn't have really any weakness except for a space rock that came from a fucking planet that got destroyed. So there's like a finite of it. There's like a finite amount of kryptonite. For real, if he just disposed of all the kryptonite, he'd be fucking completely unstoppable. And he can't see through lead. How many things are lead latent shit? Like, there's not much. I remember when sorry, like my bad guys. I know I keep going back to shit, but I remember when Tom Green was drawing the his superhero from fucking Freddy Got Fingered, and he the dude couldn't see through wood. His comic or what his superhero couldn't see through wood or some shit. He's like, yeah, it's like Superman. You know, just can't see through wood. It's like, well, what the fuck is the point of him having seen through powers? Because most things are made of wood. Sorry, my bad. I had to go. I had to talk about that. But Superman content to me, like I said, it's like basic as fuck. It's a dude that runs fast, flies, has laser beams, and punches people in the face very, very hard. Um, can I just say this also? And also can blow ice chips at you. I feel like that shit is understated. But do y'all think it's weird? Not weird, but like everybody that's a Superman type character, like Homelander, not Omni-Man. I don't think Omni-Man really used it, but the laser eye shit, is that overly used by like Superman characters? Like I know Homelander, that's one of his biggest things is using the eye lasers, is the heat vision. And like every Superman I've watched uses heat vision. All the fucking like if there's one power that he uses all the time, it's his fucking heat vision. Is that like an OP power? Like, is that really a broken power like that? Like everybody uses it? That has that skill, has that power set? Because Omni-Man is straight hands. That motherfucker is straight fuck. If you guys have not watched Invincible, Omni-Man straight fucking hands. He's a hands-on type of person. He doesn't hit you from a fucking distance. Apparently, he's saying Superman and Homelander are pussies and have to hit you from fucking distance. And he said, I'm up close and personal with you. I want to look in your eyes as I'm ripping you in half. That's what he says. That's what I don't know. I don't know that's what he says, but that's what he does. I've seen the motherfucker fly through a person's body. Omni-Man is fucking brutal as shit. It was amazing. Yeah, and actually did it for like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Just straight murking a whole fucking people. Like the dude is just wow. If you guys haven't watched Invincible, definitely go check out Invincible. But Dad of the Year is on Invincible. But yeah, man, I like Superman content lately has been pretty good. Like I watched the Superman and Lois, I love it. My Adventures with Superman, I don't know who made it. I didn't get to see who made it. I think it's Schuster or somebody, Schuler or something, Schuster, right? Somebody. That is the anime equivalent of a DC show. It's an anime for real. And if anybody, it's an anime. It has all the smellings, all the lookings, all the storyline types of what an anime would be. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of the storyline went a little fast. I wonder if they thought they were only gonna get one season. Like this show is really fucking good. And I'm thinking, no, I might be wrong. I'm thinking that the show's from Jimmy Olsen's point of view. Of course, there is a black Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, we win. We won. Get fucked, fanboys. Get fucked. Yeah, Jimmy Olsen's black. He's ours now. Yeah. Fuck you. Okay, sorry, my bad. Sorry. Yeah, but yeah, fucking yeah, Jimmy Olsen's black. He's one of us now, motherfuckers. You're welcome. Yeah. No, a lot of people were pissed about that for sure. But I think the only thing that kind of pisses me off about Superman and Lois is Lana's husband. I didn't know the motherfucker was Spanish or knew or of Mexican or whatever descent. Like the dude talks with a completely country accent, but will go and be like, say mija. Sorry, I know it sounds fucking. That sounded very, very, very American. I'm sorry, but he would say it. He'll say like Spanish shit and Spanish words. I'm sorry, no, I'm sorry. He'll say Spanish words or something in Spanish, and just doesn't sound right. It sounds like a country dude trying to say like I just tried. Pretty much like how I just tried. It doesn't sound natural. It like he's trying too hard. to be that. Like I don't know. Like that's what pissed me off about Bel Air. Like when everybody was just trying to say Philly shit, when like Philly words and things like that, like, oh, John, John, yeah, that John right there. You guys are drawing. Oh, like, Nick, what the fuck? What are you doing? I know he's supposed to be from Philly, but what are we doing here? Why are y'all trying so hard? Like for him, it's to me, it's like, and also like the whole first season, he was on his knees for another man while his wife is literally standing right there. It just it felt like his character pisses me off. I really dislike his character, and his character pisses me off further because it's in the second season. So the actress is playing Lana Lang. If you guys, well, I know I keep saying this all over and over again in this episode, but like she was the girlfriend of Eric on Entourage, and I was like, I couldn't put her. I know her. I said I know the face, and I think she got a little bit thicker, which is good. Actually, a good thicker when she got onto this show. I think you know what I mean. When she got on this show, but like when she was on Entourage, I was like, yeah, dog, she's fine as shit. And of course, now she's Lana Lang. Also, the actress is playing Lois. If you guys have not seen Grimm, she is the most annoying character on Grimm. That's Juliet. Now, on here, it's kind of toned down a little bit. She can get a little annoying because it's still Lois Lane. She's still a reporter. She's still gonna try to like scratch that itch whenever she gets a chance. Like and if she sees something itchy, she's gonna scratch the fuck out of it and just irritate it even more. Like that's pretty much Lois Lane to a T anyway, because once again, she's like the world famous reporter and shit. So let me point this up. Oh, I could have pointed it up the whole time. I'm sitting here like most of my face is getting cut off, but I'm coming around on her. I'm coming around. I'm like, yo, you talking shit to your two kids that, you know what I mean? I don't want to spoil too much for Superman and Lois. I know this has been out for a while, you know, but like if you guys get a chance, definitely go check it out. It's on the Max app for me. That's where I watch everything. So I want to end this show off right now because I am running out of breath for some reason. Woo! So with that, I would like to say thank you guys so much for listening to the Cruising Podcast. We're going to have a big announcement as soon as everything gets kind of like ironed out and, you know, nailed in and everything like that. Once I get the times and everything, there's an announcement, especially for Warrior Cast. I know Michael and I kind of alluded to it on Sunday. Once everything gets like really lined up and everything, there will be an announcement. There will be quite possibly there's going to be one more episode of Warrior Cast for this season. Pretty much having a full season review, roundtable discussion with possibly two other guest hosts, people guest starring coming to the show. So we're trying to get something lined up right now. So please bear with us. I know, but there will be an announcement very, very soon. So please, like I said, please bear with us. We will have it out as soon as possible, but definitely be on the lookout for Warrior Cast announcements. If you haven't watched the Warrior Cast or you haven't watched Warrior yet, the fuck are you doing? I don't know what the fuck you're doing. I don't know. Go watch Warrior. No, you watch and then go listen to the podcast. We did 9 episodes. So actually it's kind of perfect. The season review episode will be the 10th episode. And guess what? We're probably going to give you guys maybe a week or two to watch the whole first season. Just putting it out there. You got a whole week or two possibly to watch the first season. All right, it's gonna be a weird Sunday, like not like waking up in the morning and doing Warrior Cast. Actually, today is weird because normally I would be watching Warrior right now, but of course, you know, season's over, so sad day. But once again, where you can find the Cruising Podcast is on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Patreon, YouTube, and anywhere you can find your podcast needs. That's where you can find the Cruising Podcast. Also, where you can find latest updates of the show is on Instagram at Cruising Podcast, also on Twitter at Nicetown Finance. And one more thing, sorry. Lastly, there is going to be a Patreon episode. I don't know when, probably Sunday, maybe, who knows? But there will be a Patreon episode coming, so please go sign up for the Patreon. It's only $3 per month. $3. You get some extra content from your boy. So with that, I would like to say, like and subscribe on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Leave a review or whatever, comment, whatever you need to do. Please do that. Please leave a rating review on Apple Podcasts and also on Spotify. Let me know how you're doing. I need to know. I need to know how you're doing mentally, baby, because I love you. Yeah. No, but with that, I would like to say, I love all of you. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And I'll catch you guys later. Deuces.